The forest was alive with the golden glow of dawn, the chirping of birds echoing through the trees. Every animal knew today was special, the day of the grand feast. But as the preparations began, an urgent problem arose. The most important ingredient, the rare crimson berries, had not yet been collected. Without them, the feast would not be complete. Three brave friends, Bark the sturdy dog, Whisker the sleek cat, and Dash the clever fox, stepped forward. They knew the task would be dangerous, but they had to succeed for the forest, for their families, and for each other. The sun barely peeked through the thick trees as three figures moved quietly through the forest. Bark, the sturdy dog, led the way, his ears perked up for any signs of trouble. Whisker, the sleek cat, followed closely, her eyes sharp and calculating. Dash, the clever fox, hesitated for a moment before darting forward to keep up. They had a mission, and failure was not an option. The great feast was happening that evening, and the entire forest depended on them to bring back the rare crimson berries that only grew deep in the Shadow Grove. But Shadow Grove was no ordinary place. Legend spoke of eerie whispers and creatures that moved unseen. Some said those who entered never returned. Bark sniffed the air, his tail stiff. We need to move quickly. The longer we stay here, the riskier it gets. Whisker's fur bristled. I don't like this place. Something's watching us. Dash gulped, but put on a brave face. Let's just grab the berries and get out of here. The trio moved cautiously, weaving between twisted trees. The air was thick, filled with the scent of damp earth, and something unfamiliar. Suddenly, a rustling sound broke the silence. Whisker froze. Did you hear that? Bark growled low. Stay close. The bushes ahead trembled, and out of the shadows leaped a pair of glowing eyes. Dash yelped, but Bark stepped forward, standing his ground. The figure stepped into the light. It was an old badger, his face wise and worn. Trespassers, the badger muttered. Why have you come? Whisker swallowed hard. We need the crimson berries for the feast. Our families are counting on us. The badger studied them for a moment before nodding. Then you must work together. The berries are guarded by the brambles. Only with trust and teamwork can you succeed. The trio exchanged glances and hurried toward the berry bush. Sharp thorns surrounded the bright red fruit, making it impossible to reach. Dash tried to squeeze in, but yelped as a thorn snagged his fur. It's too tight, Bark thought for a moment. If we work together, we can do this. Whisker, being the smallest, carefully slipped through the gaps. Dash used his agile paws to push the branches aside, and Bark used his strength to hold them back. One by one, they plucked the berries and passed them along. Just as they collected the last one, a deep growl echoed from behind them. The wind howled and the trees seemed to close in. The badger's warning rang in their ears. Leave now, without hesitation. The trio bolted, dashing through the trees as shadows flickered behind them. Their hearts pounded as they broke free from the grove and into the safety of the open woods. The weight of the danger lifted, but their paws still trembled. When they arrived back home, the feast was waiting. The forest animals cheered as the crimson berries were placed at the center. They had done it. They had faced fear, worked together, and returned stronger. As they sat by the fire, Dash chuckled. I guess teamwork really does make the dream work. Whisker flicked her tail. Let's just not do that again anytime soon. Bark grinned. Agreed. But if we ever have to, We do it together. The night sky stretched above them, filled with shimmering stars. The feast was a success, but more importantly, a bond had been strengthened. In the heart of the forest, where danger had once lurked, a lesson